As promised, we are back and we're ready to talk some more titles.
Yeah.
This time, the EZAC on the plate.
Gotta love the EZAC. And to a team that's dominated this conference over the last few years, Delmarva Christian. Well, the Royals came into last night's title matchup as the defending conference champions and 10-0 in EZAC play this year. That is how you dominate. Looking to go back-to-back, hosting a young Worcester Prep team that just fought their way into the finals. First half, Prep came out to play, man. Michael Curtis on fire to start this game. Nice. 17 points for this guy in the first 16 minutes. 5 threes in the first half, and he held up the 3. Only problem was his production was matched by the EZAC Player of the Year, Andrew Workman. That guy had a game-high 22 on the night. Royals up 6 when they went to the locker room. Second half, Delmarva Christian just exploded. Wyatt Kwiatkowski, this kid must have got a good talking to at halftime. 21 points for the junior in the second half. Huge 20-3 run, and they never looked back. Back-to-back EZAC champions, the Royals, take it by a final of 72-49.
This season, we really learned to play with each other, to trust our coaches. Because last year, with Coach Twiddell being new, it took us a while to buy into his system. But in the second year, we really started to trust him, and the main thing is we started to trust each other.
It's exciting to go back-to-back, and I'm a junior, so hopefully we'll do this again next year.
All right, guys, so same matchup for the EZAC girls title. Hannah Merritt gets the Mallards on the board early with the bucket down low. She would have 8 first-quarter points, but the Royals getting hot from behind the arc. Abby Agapito buries a triple from the wing. Then it's the sophomore, and should mention EZAC Player of the Year, Gracie Fetterman, knocking one down from the top of the key. Royals up 20-15 at the half, and then the second half, more offense for the road team. Savannah Stewart with some quick hands in the backcourt. She takes it the other way for the bucket. Delmarva Christian takes down Worcester Prep 37-28 to capture the 2018-2019 EZAC Girls Championship.
Ever since the second time we lost against Worcester, every practice, I've been getting into their head. This is for Worcester. Every run that we did, every suicide that we did, every down and back that we did, every defensive slide. I said, this is for Worcester. We're preparing for the tournament champion.
It feels really good. We got defeated by them twice, so to come back and do a two-peat, well, for me, it feels really good. And we showed them what we were, and we got it.
Wow.
Hey,
Coach
That's my guy, Coach Jedediah.
Coach was ready, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, but you got to think about it. As animated as Scott is on the Worcester Prep sideline,
it was a good coaching matchup. It was a good coaching matchup. Scotty D kept his suit jacket on. Jedediah took it off.
Oh, okay.
There were some sweat stains coming out in this game because it's a big time matchup.
Yes.
Both coaches, both teams competing for an EZAC title, and you saw mainly the difference was the shooting of Delmarva Christian. You had Agapito, you had Gracie Fetterman. You have a Delmarva Christian team that is just I don't know, just composed of just all underclassmen. And they win the EZAC title. So this team's going to be very good for the next few years. And I hear that there's even more underclassmen, 8th graders coming up next year to kind of hold things together.
And obviously at this point, it's a rivalry at this point with these teams matching up so much. We saw that Worcester Prep won 2 of these games in the regular season.
That's right, yeah.
So when you are Delmarva Christian and you know your back is against the wall,
you got to get one
on the road against a team like that is rarely lost in the conference. It's really tough. It's got to be depressing though for Prep to 2 years in a row get there and not win this game. And of course, they got a great senior laden staff that they had this year. But unfortunately for that senior class, the title game has eluded them 2 years in a row right now. So that's got to be tough for them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, got to give love to them.
With Scotty D, got to give love to them. They had a fantastic season.
Yes, absolutely. All right, and enough about the EZAC. We've got to go over to the wall to talk more about clearly the biggest controversy of the day. Hey, Drew.
Controversy, conspiracy, I think those are a few of the words we heard today. But certainly if you followed the Bayside South basketball season this year, you knew this moment was coming. The dreaded coin flip between Y-High and Crisfield to decide who would represent the Bayside South in the conference title game. This wasn't exactly the coin flip from earlier, but Y-High is your 2019 Bayside South champs, and I'm told the reason was because tails never fails. The Tribe took Game 1 against the Crabbers earlier in the season, but Crisfield was able to get their revenge at the Graveyard later in the year. The teams finished the regular season both tied at 16-1 in the conference, and MPSSAA rules say both teams reached the maximum amount of games they can play in a season. So pocket change was the deciding factor on who's going to be the champs. So on Tuesday, Y-High will take on Bayside champ, North champion Easton. Both of these teams squared off in last season's Bayside championship, where Y-High won that game quite handily. But this Easton team is quite different from the one last year, so this should most certainly be a great matchup. And of course, Trey, I know your mentions on Twitter have been straight fire about this tiebreaker, so you got to give me a little bit. What do you guys got on this one?
Man, I got no idea, man. It's still the Twitter world is going crazy. It's still a lot going on right now.
A lot of frustration. Yeah. And I know Drew mentioned controversy and conspiracy. All of that on social media today. Man, a lot of people, especially in Crisfield, really unhappy.
Yeah, and you knew with this result, we saw this coming for about 2 or 3 weeks, that we possibly could have a coin flip. It is literally in the rules that there will be a coin flip after 2 tiebreakers. Certainly something that Bayside can do about this is change the tiebreaker rules. But people just saying, hey, we want Crisfield and Y-High to play again, that's fine, but you need to get the rules changed that way. You know what I mean? So it's not Butch Waller's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It's not Dave Arnold's fault. I just think that that's the way the rules were written. And unfortunately, some team has to suffer. And you knew that whoever came out on the wrong side of this would feel some type of way about it.
And you want this, not to say you want people arguing, but you want the Twitter heat. You want people getting on social media because you have fan bases and communities like Crisfield. If you've ever been to a game, it's sold out by 4 o'clock. You can't get in the door. Same thing with Y-High. You're an alum. Everybody gathers there on Friday nights for these home games, and you want this stuff on Twitter because you're absolutely right. The rule needs to change. These 2 teams deserve maybe to face off one more time at a neutral location, which isn't really that far from one another. So, I mean, that's what people want. Unfortunately, it does come up to, the pocket change, unfortunately. And Y-High is going to give Easton a good game and vice versa. But in my opinion, I think Crisfield deserved to be in this game the way that they have played, especially in 2019.
Absolutely, and I think everybody feels that way. They are still the Coast South champions. Unfortunately, they don't get to play in the title game. But like I said on Twitter, I really do think that they could be playing for something bigger, being one of the best teams in the conference and possibly in the state. So
put it behind you and get ready for the tournament.
Exactly right.
That's all you can do. All right, when we return, you like news? We have some of that. Governor Larry Hogan, will he finally announce his run for president? What his condition for running is. Jokers over here. And a proposed firearm regulations could have you returning your guns. We'll explain.
Hey, Scott Daly, head girls basketball coach at Worcester Prep, and you are watching Delmarva Sports Insider.